Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of making a copper box. You can see the base of the copper box I made in part 1. Part 2, I'm not using any impression dies, but I am using my rolling mill and some pattern plates. There are the pattern plates that I'm going to use to get the impressions on the blank sheets of copper. You can see me here in the design phase to get my angles right. And then next thing I have to do is anneal and cut some copper. Annealing helps because I'm going to roll these plates through my rolling mill right there, and you can see the impression I get. It's nice, and it always works better if you heat it up first. Let it cool down though. So there I am cutting with my metal shears. Basically the outline, and this is an interesting part. Look at that. I thought a lot of ways to solder this together. I tried propping it up, right, but in the end I laid it all flat and then decided to bend it afterwards, and here you can see me soldering these pieces together. It's a five-sided shape, but then when you fold it down and take up that negative space, you'll come up with the four-sided pyramid that I'll be using as the top of the box, the lid. And so now that's soldered, you'll see I'm bending it. If I can get my hands out of the way in the shot, I'm bending it, gently bending it into a pyramid shape. I was really impressed with how well this worked out. I've never done anything like this before. I'm not gonna lie, I did have to use a little bit of AI just to make 100% sure that my angles were right, and I got a good lesson in geometry in the process. So now that I've shaped it into place, I still have one side that's not soldered. I want to make sure everything lines up perfectly there, and I can kind of see it starting to take some shape there. So next I got to make a base for the pyramid, and measuring that out right there. I want it all be perfect. Take it over to my favorite shears and line it up just to make sure it matches perfectly. This is going to be the bottom of the inside of the lid, and there's actually going to be another piece that lines in to make sure it doesn't slide around, but every step of the way I got to test it, try it out, make sure that everything lines up perfectly, because this is a lot of geometry. You want those seams to be nice, and that's where I'm at right there. It's starting to look good, and here's my next rolling mill project. I'm going to make some trim both on the top of that Cranston fancy wire I got from Potter USA, and a base for the lid. I'm going to roll out a pattern. And so first I'm going to anneal it all, and I'm annealing this trim because I've got to bend it again. I've got to put some angle into it so that it fits on the side. You're going to see in a second what I mean. I'm just putting that in my small vise and gently kind of estimating my bend. I'm going to touch it up once I get it there. I am guessing on this, and I'm lucky that it turned out. That's kind of what I do. So this is where it gets fun. I'm going to have to solder everything together. And man, I'll tell you, I have never done so much soldering on a piece in my life. These boxes are challenging, and one of the hardest parts for me is just making sure it doesn't all fall apart. And trust me, even though I might not have shown it all, I did have some struggles. So I'm soldering these angle trim pieces there. You can kind of see what I'm going with. This is an idea. Now I'm going to cut these to fit perfectly, because even though I try, everything is not 100% square. It will be in the end, trust me. And there I am with one of my favorite tools, whiteout, to protect the seams that I've already soldered. And there I got a good join. I'm double torching it, and we're in action. Now this is the trick. Now that I've got so much soldering going on, I am tacking the ends down because I want it all to stay in place. Now that I got it tacked down, I've drilled holes on the inside. Now, to solder correctly, you need heat to transfer. And all this metal on metal makes a whole lot of heat sink. So what I have there, I don't know if you can see it, I've drilled holes in the initial pyramids so that I can get a transfer of heat so the solder will stick. Moving back to the rolling mill, I'm working on a few pieces here that I've cut and annealed for that'll be a base trim for the pyramid lid. So I'm going to solder it all together and make sure it all joins nicely. Then I'm going to take a break and walk my dog, but man, it's so cold outside in Michigan where I'm at right now. He is not having it. There's Griffin. Some people saw him in the last video and loved him, so I brought him back for this one. Look, he won't even walk in the snow. He says, "No way, Dad." So we're going to go back inside and finish up this box. At this point, I'm pretty excited because everything is coming together nicely. And someday I'm going to get into flame painting copper because, man, does that look cool, but not on this one. So my next stop here is I'm going to drill a hole in the top there, and I'm going to make this box a little special. I'm going to put a stone in it. So what I've done is I've got a silver tube that I've pushed through the top of the pyramid, and I'll be soldering that in there. So you can see I got a base for my bezel. I'm speeding this up quite a bit, but I'll bring it over to my sander. I just cut that out with some scissors, and now I'm rounding the edges. My next step is to make my bezel setting, so there I am cutting it out of some thin silver sheet that I rolled out myself, and I form it to the little crystal that is going to be at the top of the pyramid, roughly. So here I am, just checking it all out and soldering it together. This is a several stage process, but there I am. I got a good join, happy with it, and oh man, am I happy to get to this part. Finally, I'm pasting some liver of sulfur on there to oxidize it. It hides up, a lot of my mistakes. Sometimes it brings them out, but makes it look nice and antique. I polish it up a little bit beforehand, but then you can see like, oh wow, it brings out the detail there really, really nice with all those designs. Here I am setting the stone, and next time I'll probably go with a little bit thicker bezel setting, just because I went so thin, silver's so expensive, that I did wrestle with this one a little bit, but in the end I got it just the way that I wanted it. It all worked out. I'd had to just trim it down a little bit from where I started, but there I am, smoothing my edge. I'm not one of those people that just has one tool for this. I use whatever is handy, and I've got the stone set, and bam, the big reveal. There's my box. It looks like a house, but here it is. I'm excited to show this to you guys. A lot of work went into this. Everything was an angle. Everything had to be done in parts and then fit together. And look, here's a little treasure. I have another little treasure in my box collection. And there's a base. It looks really nice all together. It's all a floral pattern. And I think the Cranston fancy wire on there looks great. And let me know what you think. Do you like the crystal at the top? I do. I've never done anything like this. I just keep on pushing myself to find new ways to challenge myself, but I'll guarantee you the next box I make is not going to be square with a pyramid at the top. I'm going back to cylinders there. I thought they were hard when I first started, but not after doing this one. This is much different. So have a good one, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, I sure appreciate you. And I'm, like I said before, I'm really just looking to connect and share what I'm learning and share what I'm doing. Copper is kind of a thing that's getting popular, and I've done a lot of silver work, not like you guys or a lot of you, but I'm learning how to work with copper and just trying to make it a journey. And I hope you all have a great day and stay positive out there.